What else did he say? High pressure sensor. Its purpose. I mentioned that already. The condenser, what it does, you know, obviously cools off the coolant when it gets hot, and it cools it back off before it goes into the cold side. Dryer accumulator, its purpose, I described that already. The Schrader valves. Okay, everybody says, okay, well, my Schrader valve was bad. You know, I took it in a shop, my Schrader valve was bad. You know, that's pretty funny. Actually, I think. The Schrader valve, what's a Schrader valve? This little guy right here, okay, which, you know, if I got a can of Freon, or coolant, refrigerant, 134, you have to excuse me, I'm from the 70s where we used Freon, but, you know, we don't do that anymore. So, this thing here fits on this little port to charge the system. That's the low pressure side. Okay, and the high pressure side's over there, coming off the compressor. Well, you only ever put coolant or refrigerant in the low pressure side. Well, that little looks like a giant tire valve, just like one of those. Looks like a giant one. That's a Schrader valve. Oh, gee, wow. They said my Schrader valve was bad. Well, those valves are notorious to leak. The reason why, somebody uses really crappy connector on it, or the shop itself uses those metal ones, which they usually use instead of these plastic ones. They'll put it on there. Some of them have like an adjustment to, you know, push that little thing in the center end to get, you know, get it to flow, you know, refrigerant in and out of it, and they'll over tighten it, and it'll damage it. Okay, so a lot of times, and almost always, when you have leaks, you know, refrigerant leaks, your system keeps leaking down, keeps draining down. It's almost always a Schrader valve because it got damaged. It's so easy to damage these things. It's not funny. That's why I use a plastic fitting to charge mine with. You know, a cheap plastic one, and the plastic ones have this like little rubberish O-ring or washer diaphragm or something, because these things are real soft and it moves in there, so it's not really going to hurt that thing unless you just put it on wrong. You know, you just force it on real hard or something. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty clean. You keep these from leaking. And I've always used this. Never had a problem mine leaking. Okay, but that's where the Schrader valves are, and that's most of the time, 99% of the time, that's where you get your leaks. Sometimes the evaporator core will get rusted up or corroded up with salt intrusion. You know, it might get eaten up, and you know, the fins between the pipes get in there, and then one of the fins breaks off, and the pipe starts leaking. You know, so you get leaks in the evaporator, leaks, you know, in different parts of the system. But that's from corrosion or, you know, something happening. Not usually, you know, excess vibration. Maybe the one in the bunk starts to leak or something. But most of the time, it's just these stupid little valves. They come off, you can change them out, but like I said, you have to have the system bled all the way down before you do anything.